All right, happy Sunday, everybody. So I've got an update for y'all on the hormone bill and the stuff that's going to be going on soon. I've got a piece of paper here because there's a list. So what you should have done already, if you haven't, I would get my name changed. Um, Gender markers, if you're over 18, depending on your state, I wouldn't worry about it. If you're in the military and you don't have these things done, you need to get it done before it all goes through, because military is at the top of the list for people that you will absolutely have to go by whatever's on your birth certificate, and you will not be able to identify as who you are, especially if you want to be in combat. The new attorney general that's up to be approved is a 20-year vet, very decorated, very intelligent, but very fed up with the woke culture and the DEI culture that has been presented in the media. So what you need to do is get your shit in order, which, I mean, you should have that done anyway, honestly. If you don't have that done and you're kind of lollygagging, then you really are living in a place of privilege, because back in the day, you wouldn't have been identified as anything except for who you were unless you had proper documentation. And I've had conversations with brothers that have already been in situations where they've been approached, like, are you X, Y, and Z? You're using the men's room here. We've noticed it. People have complained. At least 3 brothers have come to me, and I've told them, prepare yourself, because now, due to all of the stuff in media and all the stuff on TikTok and other outlets, people now have lingo that they feel like they know what's going on with all of us. The community allowed this woke culture to represent everyone. So that put trans folks in a tight situation. What to prepare for? Huge change when it comes to that kind of thing. I would prepare for the social change first. And that has nothing to do with who's sitting in any office. I personally think it has to do with pent up aggression over the last 4 years of people going from being able to say what they want to not being able to say what they want. Do I think it's right? Hell no. But I've lived through this reality. And, if you are presenting in any way that in other people's mind is questionable, then, you prepare to stand firm. I would take my documentation with me everywhere. Especially, like, even if I was going to the gym, anywhere where I was going to be in a place where I could be questioned about my identity, I would take my documentation. As far as getting your name changed and all that stuff, you guys can Google that. Besides the fact that there are free clinics that go on all the time that I see, and, I know you have anxiety about going to do things, but we don't have the luxury of having anxiety about these types of things. These types of things, you just got to get it done. And this is why. I already took care of the active duty military. I can't stress that enough. Between military and under 18, huge. And now surgeons are going to be on the chopping block for surgeries that have been reported, like, say if someone transitioned and they're like, well, I didn't really want the surgery, but I was talked into it, which is what some of these stories are, then now the surgeon can be sued for doing the surgery because they're seeing it as mutilating kids. Also, I did a little bit of research, and some parents got tax breaks from their child, identifying as like the furry movement, for example. Yeah. And I'll go a little bit deeper into the tax break stuff. But it was, people look at it from the outside in as an agenda that was pushed and shoved down their throat. And now they can strike back. That's why I said socially prepare. That doesn't mean prepare to fight or, be to lash out at everything. Everything doesn't deserve a response. Don't cash someone's check every single time. Know when to. And that's where the comfort in you comes in. So Medicare, Medicaid, even though it's state assisted in a lot of state run in a lot of places, uh, that is going to be something to be put in place. Also, Medicare, Medicaid, any kind of federal monies, they are going to try and cease from going towards hormones. Hormone access has become way too easy, according to what I've been watching. And this is something that an immediate halt wants to be put. I'm in an immediate halt. There will be traditional values that will be lobbied to be taught, nuclear family values. So if you are like someone who is radical in your presentation, start mentally preparing yourself. You know, that doesn't mean you have to blend. And I don't like the word pass, because I think pass is a real ugly way of us talking to each other. Blending, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're, if you've intentionally been loud and proud for these last 4 years, there's nothing to protect you now but you. And I know the transgender law centers, they've gotten involved, and there's some other trans supportive legal outlets that have gotten involved. So, anything could happen. This hasn't even been introduced, but I do know that it's being hard pushed, and there's a lot more majority than minority feeling towards it. Last but not least, nonprofits and federally funded programs. They haven't gone deep into what exactly they're going to do, but DEI is being seen as something that's just a negative. So I don't imagine it's going to be a positive effect on those. So if this is the way that you're receiving your HRT, your hormones, if you're getting anything done, speak to the head of your nonprofit, speak to someone that can help you and tell you, hey, what's going on with you guys. I'm sure they'll keep you all up to date, but I would still stay on top. I always like to be in the know of anything that has to do with myself. So that's pretty much a very condensed version, but get your stuff in order, which that should be your priority anyway. This is your life forever. And, once you have your life in order, you're not controlled. There are several people that aren't worried right now. And that's because, we know we have our stuff right. If you need help, you need resources, reach out to people. You got to let the anxiety go when it comes to this. And when you do take that step and you take charge of this, it'll help, and it'll bleed into other areas. It'll build your self-confidence. The anxiety will start to subside. Then you'll have your paperwork right. And nothing feels better than knowing your shit's right when somebody's talking to you and you're like, mm-hmm. And then you throw your ID down like you're playing spades. Bam! Oh, gender markers, stuff like that, check your state. Like I'm in Texas, you can't get your gender marker changed here, but I'm registered in North Carolina. Already had it done there, good to go. So, and my ID is North Carolina. They give you an ID for like 9 years when you get your ID in North Carolina. But I love y'all, man. Take care of your heart. Take care of your head, your environment. Take care of your shit, so you're not under the control of anyone else and you're not anxious. If you don't know how, learn. Take care.